These are some of the problems that my clients face before they join my Sleep Baby Sleep coaching program, okay? So they are very tired and sleep deprived. Their child is like cat napping, 30 to 40 minutes long. You guys may not be mindful of this term cat napping, but cat napping means that your baby can only do one sleep cycle, which is typically around 30 to 45 minutes, okay? And then your child fighting sleep. Okay, I think some of you guys were sharing your child always fight sleep, but they're so tired. Why are they not sleeping? Right? Yeah, so later I'll share with you why. And your child refusing feeds during the day. Okay, this is a very common problem. If you guys really think about it, right? Feeding and sleeping, they are interrelated. Okay, why do I say that? Because if you think about it, your babies, right, require a lot of energy to be sucking. Okay, if they don't have enough sleep, they don't have the energy to be sucking. Okay, that's why they rather fuss and cry. They will just fight it, even though clearly it's time to feed them, but they are so frustrated because they are not getting enough sleep. So that's why it will affect their feeding as well. So a lot of my clients will always tell me, my baby is on milk strike, they just refuse to feed. The only way you can feed them is when they are about to go to sleep. And then what happens? Your baby end up snacking. Okay, when they end up snacking, they're not getting enough heat. So what happened is, by the time your baby wake up again after 1 hour crying, then what will happen? Will you second guess yourself? Is this hunger cry, or is this your baby wanting to sleep again? Right? So that's the problem. Okay, child waking up multiple times at night. Yes. Yeah. So it's also very common. It happens with a lot of overtired children who are not getting enough sleep. And child waking up very early in the morning. How many of you would like to start the day at 5 a.m.? Nobody, right? Yeah, so if your child is overtired, they will tend to wake up super early as well. And that's when you get very frustrated because you rather be sleeping in until at least 7. For your child, what happens when he or she is sleeping? When they're sleeping, actually, growth hormones are released in their brain, okay? And it will help with their brain and physical development, proper learning, and social adjustment. Okay, so it's very important for your baby to have a lot of good quality sleep so that they can have plenty of growth hormones. If you want your babies to have the best start in life, you got to prioritize their sleep. Okay, studies showed there's a big overlap between sleep deprivation and ADHD. So it's just saying a child who has ADHD and a child who doesn't but very tired and sleep deprived, they both exhibit similar symptoms of hyperactivity. So it overlaps, right? Then doctors have trouble diagnosing whether this child truly has ADHD or not. Okay. And sleep deprivation can actually lead to slower learning, more frustration, and crankiness. Sleep increases your kids' attention span and boosts learning. When they are very tired and sleep deprived, you can see from their face, behavior, they are just very, very cranky, right? And if you don't want your child to get sick so easily, because I know many of you might be sending your baby to infant care, all these things, right? So you got to make sure that they get good quality sleep so that their immune system will be strong. Okay, so sleep is really the foundation to boost the immune system, make sure that they have all these cytokines to fight infection and illness. Okay, so just to give you a snippet of adult sleep is definitely a lot more complicated. If you're not getting 7 to 9 hours of sleep, these are the, things that will be problematic. Okay, so short-term memory loss, postnatal depression, 1 out of 3 moms who suffer from PND is due to the lack of sleep. Alzheimer's disease and dementia. How many of you think this is something that only you will get when you're old? Okay, but do you know it actually starts when you're in your 30s? You know why I say that? Because if you have not been prioritizing your sleep, okay, when you're sleeping, what happens? Your brain is working overtime, is working hard, right, to discharge the bad toxins in your brain, which if you don't get enough sleep, okay, you don't get enough quality sleep, all these bad toxins will lead to dementia and Alzheimer, teen aging. So all of you girls, ladies especially, you want to look younger and younger. Yes, so beauty sleep is very real. Okay, you need to have that growth hormones in order to repair and heal yourself. It will slow down your reaction time, distractedness, and car accidents. So all this is very, very serious if you guys are not getting enough sleep. Okay, so now I want to answer this question. Why are that important part of the equation? I think just now you say you're the only one who's getting 7 to 9 hours. your poor wife is not getting that. Okay, so that is, you can also help with the whole sleep training and putting your baby to sleep. It doesn't have to be just mommy, okay? So this article, it says that how having first baby makes 2 in 3 parents unhappy, comparable to a divorce or death of a partner. Sounds bad, right? Yeah. Actually, you know what they say? They found out that new parents generally complain about the lack of sleep, relationship stress, and a feeling of loss of freedom and control over their lives. Okay, so that's what happened to me as well. As a first time mom, my whole world turned upside down. I was no longer just having to look after myself, but I have to look after my twins, and they are like my whole world now. And so with the lack of sleep, it's very hard for us to actually think properly and focus. And so that's why daddies, you need to be very, very supportive to your wife, and just because your wife just gave birth, they are very hormonal, very emotional, right? Yes, so you gotta be supportive and just happy wife, happy life. Just remember this. Happy wife, happy life. My first point, not making sleep a priority in their life. You made a mistake too. Yeah. So a lot of parents, they think that my baby will just sleep the same time as I go to bed or things like that. That's why I hear a lot of parents, right, who put their baby to sleep, right, maybe 10, 11 sometimes, and that is very, very late. Okay, babies cannot be sleeping the same time as you guys, right? They need a lot more sleep than us because they are growing rapidly. They need a lot of growth hormones. So for them to actually sleep at the same time as you, like only getting 7 to 9 hours, is not enough. Putting your child to bed too late is a recipe for disaster. Okay, your baby needs to be sleeping. If you ask me what time is too late, I would say anything for babies like 0 to 12 months old, anything after 8 is quite late. Okay, then you'll be like, oh my gosh, so I have to like put my baby to bed quite early. Yes, if your baby is very overtired, you need to actually, sometimes bedtime can be as early as 6 p.m. also. Okay, depending on how long your baby has been awake since the last nap. Okay, because different age group, they will all have different awake time. Okay, not having any routine for their baby and toddler. What did my neighbor tell me about not having a routine? Your life will be a what? Correct. Your life will be a mess. So you guys need to make sure that you have a routine in place. Okay, how do you establish a routine? This is how you establish a routine, okay? For your baby, even for a toddler also can, just always follow this routine. As soon as your baby wake up, you're gonna feed your baby. Full feeding, okay? Not snacking. Okay? Then when I say full feeding, what do I mean by that? If you are breastfeeding, are you breastfeeding? Yeah. If you are breastfeeding, you need to just offer both your breasts to make sure that your baby really doesn't want anymore. Okay. Then for those who are doing formula, then you just go with the guideline of what the manufacturer say. In a 24-hour day, if you feed them well during the daytime, then they will sleep longer at night. But if you don't feed them well during the daytime, then they will wake up very often at night to feed. So you don't want that, right? Yeah. So you need to make sure you fill up his or her tank during the daytime. Okay. So full feeding during the day, then activity which includes burping, changing diaper, and all that, and then let your baby sleep. Put your baby down into the cot before he or she is overtired. So if you put your baby down when your baby is still calm, still happy, looking at the ceiling, everything, that's a good thing. Okay, by the time you put your baby down and it's already fussy and crying, then it's too late already. Okay, then when your baby is sleeping, it's your time. Okay, so remember this, easy. Number 4, sleep mistake that most parents make is they are very inconsistent with the sleep habits. So some days you are feeding them to sleep, or you are rocking them to sleep. So it's very inconsistent, right? So your baby does not know how is it that they are going to fall asleep each time, right? So you cannot be inconsistent with their sleep habits. You got to always make sure that they learn that they can actually fall asleep independently on their own. Okay, if you don't let them fall asleep on their own, then they think that every time they fall asleep, they need your help. Okay, so this brings me to this point. Lor. Have you ever let your child fall asleep without the rocking, feeding, bouncing, or petting? So whenever I ask my clients this question, the answer is always no. Okay, if they tell me yes all the time, they won't be my clients. Okay, so do you know that babies are easily overstimulated and overtired? When babies are overtired, right, this is what happens to their bodies. Okay, they will fight the fatigue by producing a stimulating chemical. Okay, and this second way of stimulating energy will cause a hyper alert state which prevent easy entry into sleep or sleeping for longer periods. That's why overtired children appear wired, unable to fall asleep easily or stay asleep. Okay, so those of you who have been saying, oh, why my baby fights sleep, is because of this. So how much sleep does your child need? How do I know whether your child is overtired? I just go by this. This is their sleep needs. Okay, so if your child is not getting this required amount of sleep as recommended by the National Sleep Foundation, then I will consider your child as an overtired child. So please, if you find that your baby, or I mean your child is getting very hyperactive and fighting sleep, it's because they are overtired. Okay, so that's when you, as parents, you guys know what's best for them, and you need to be firm and be consistent when it comes to bedtime. So I have this 5-step system that I actually came out on my own. Okay. So here's are my 5 steps. Number one, you gotta understand the science of sleep. When you understand the science behind the sleep, you can explain, predict, and control your child's sleeping situation. You know, you gotta understand the sleep cycles. You gotta understand what are the hormones surrounding sleep. You know, like melatonin, cortisol, all these things. Okay, and then you gotta prepare the ideal sleep environment. Okay, what do you think is an ideal sleep environment for your baby? Lights off, yes, darkness is your friend, okay? Because we want darkness to produce melatonin. So melatonin is the sleepy hormone that we all need to fall asleep and stay asleep. That's why we cannot sleep in a bright room. We need darkness to help us fall asleep. Okay, so where should babies sleep? Cot, not on the floor, right? No. Well, don't be alarmed. Actually, a lot of parents who actually thought that the baby doesn't like the cot, they end up shifting the baby to the mattress on the floor. Okay, so but that's not good, because you will have a lot of troubles later on, because your baby will start crawling, start walking around. So you need to confine them in a cot where it's safe. Okay. Okay. So remember just now, without a routine, your life will be a mess. So you need to have an age appropriate routine and schedule in place so that your baby know what to expect next. Okay. And then have a plan. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. That's right. And then final step is to teach your child the art of self-settling. Okay, when your child knows that he or she can fall asleep on their own independently, then when they wake up in between their sleep cycle in the middle of the night, they are not going to need your help to put themselves back to sleep. Okay, it's okay, but the thing is, the child needs to know that anybody can put the child to sleep. So you cannot always be just the mommy, or cannot always just be the daddy. So everyone in the household, like even the helper or the grandparents, can put the child to sleep as long as they follow the same routine. If you always have only one person doing it, then the child will be very, very rigid. They always think, oh, the only person that can put me to sleep is mommy. Then if daddy comes in and help, then they will not be happy. So you gotta take turns and share this responsibility together. Yes, you can sleep train the baby if baby sleep in the same room, but not the bed, because the bed is not safe, right? But let them sleep in the cot in the same room, up to maybe when they are able to stand up in the cot. That's probably when you might need to have a partition, if because I know space is an issue here in Singapore. So you gotta have a partition so that if your child wakes up in the middle of the night, they cannot just see you like that. Okay, because they see you there, of course they want to cry out to you for your attention, right? So ideally to have a partition, then it's better. Because personally, my girl, she was also sleeping in the same room as us until she was 9 months old. Then she kept waking up earlier, like 5 a.m., 6 a.m., because she sees we are there sleeping, then say, Mama, Mama, like want our attention. So when I gave her her own space, then that's when she was able to sleep until 7. Mm.